Good morning, guys. Wandering Beast here. I've got one more review before I'm going to hit the road and head back into town. And that is going to be this little Olight. This is the Mini Marauder, and it is a heck of a little truck light. Alright guys, as always, I'll put links for this down below, so if you want the super nitty gritty about sizes and wattage and all that stuff, I'll put some insert photos so you can kind of see this thing up close. It is a little bit hard to see in the light that I've got today. We are in the middle of winter and I just don't have a lot of indirect light that's going to be camera friendly. So you're stuck behind the bus right now, kind of shielding the sun, and again, I'll put in some inserts. So every once in a while I get approached from flashlight reviewers, and most of them I usually politely turn down because I'm pretty happy with a lot of the lights that I've gotten recently. Still one of my favorites, the go-to lights has been Olight. I just realized I've been using an Olight headlight for wildland firefighting for years. I like the simplicity. I like that I can leave it on my helmet and slap the little magnetic charging base that we'll show here in a second, and it's terrific. I've still got a pocket light that is an Olight. Really like all of Olight stuff. So when they reapproached me, every once in a while people get new marketing folks in the office and they said, hey, would you like to do this? And I said, absolutely. I really was looking for more of a truck light. And I guess that's the usage that I consider this to be. You can certainly use it around the home or anything else, but I've got a lot of the more tactical, what goes bump in the night sort of flashlights, the hyper focus strobe light, easy to handle with the firearms. But I wanted something to put in the bus or to take with me on my fire engine for wildland firefighting, and something that I can just leave in the truck. My guys know where it is. We can use it for a work light, all that sort of thing. And the Mini Marauder clicked all of those boxes. So let's talk about it. All right, talking about features on here, they really tried to make it foolproof, idiot proof, more intuitive. And so they've gotten rid of the the UI is what they used to call it. So like the press and hold for 2 seconds to make it brighter, or the press for 3 seconds to go into this mode. They still have some of those, but they've replaced this with a wheel. And again, we'll put some close-up shots in. So when I turn this guy on, it's now on and I go up brighter, and it has this little bit of like a little bit of a vibrator, kind of springy noise. It's tactile, but you can feel it in the flashlight and you can hear it. And that means you're at the end. That's as low as you can go, or that's as bright as you can go. And if I go all the way down low, you can kind of see the 6 LEDs that are producing the flood mode. Now, by just a flip of a separate switch, I'm now on the center spot beam. And again, we'll put in some photos because I've used this for wildland fire out working. I put it in flood mode and I just cranked the thing all the way up and set it on the truck, and we were able to continue our work. We don't really have bright work lights on my fire truck, and we were doing a very specific work on the side of the truck that it was nice to have all of that. It was an initial attack, and long story short, you never have anything you need on initial attack. There's always kind of trying to figure the stuff out. And so throwing this on the side of the truck with all of its lumens brought out there, it worked really well. Now, the neat thing is, because now you can switch immediately by a flick of a switch to that spot mode, now I'm looking at treetops. I'm looking at dangers while I'm out in wildland fire. Or out here in the snowstorms or anything, you're looking for potential snags. We had a birthday trip in 60-mile-an-hour winter storm warning, and I was making sure there wasn't any weak tops or widowmakers that were going to come crashing down on our truck while we slept in about 1.5 feet of fresh snow. So that's why I call this the truck light, because it is so universal. It isn't going to be something you're going to put in your backpack. It's not an EDC light. I wouldn't necessarily grab this as a tactical light to go see what bumps in the night. It certainly, we've had a few times where there's, why are the dogs barking in the backyard? And I've gone out there and it illuminates the entire backyard. And that is amazing. The flood on this, the amount of lumens that comes out of this to just push that light anywhere it wants to go is fantastic. And it's a good peace of mind that you can see everything, and nobody can probably see you because you turn this thing on and it's just going to blind anybody. So feel free to use it as a tactical light. If that's all you got, you're not trained in light discipline, that sort of thing, it would certainly perform that way. Now, the on-off switch is also the wheel. And if you press and hold, you are going to go through multiple modes. And if I can see on there, there we go. There's a red light, there's a green light, and a blue light. Now, I'm not really sure what the blue light would be most useful for. Certainly when I went elk hunting back in November, we were using this as, early break of dawn, getting out into position and looking for tracks. And so I had red light on most of the time. I did find that you're also able, I don't know if you can see on camera, but I can wind that up just like a normal light. I can add lumens and decrease lumens. I did find that the red light kind of worked the best, but even on its lowest setting, it was almost a little too bright to be reading maps with. That was my only complaint, is I wish the low was a little bit lower, especially on stuff like this. But we just moved the flashlight back and it worked out better. All right, starting on a low, I can see right in front of me. You can kind of see that stump. Certainly more than enough lumens to walk the dog, to do, tasks around camp. And then as we start winding this up, and up, and up, even though it's a wheel, there are some steps. You can definitely feel the light kind of hit, and up, and that noise means we're at our limit. This is a massive amount of light in a flood. Now if we go to spot, you can see we're getting a very focused hot spot, which is why we're going to get the distance that we can get. This is low. We're going to start ramping this up. And you can see we can get quite the distance back there into the wood line. But obviously no to very little spill. When it's at full brightness, I can see in front of me out here, but the camera doesn't quite pick it up. Now again, with some of the close-up pictures, you'll be able to see kind of what I'm talking about a little bit better, and I'll try to insert them as we talk. The wheel, I think, is fantastic. I like that it's the button and the wheel. A double click gets you into high mode, so it does have a couple little tricks up its sleeve. Going directly from flood without having to press and hold for 5 seconds, I think is fantastic. There is a little bit of a lanyard piece that you'll see in the photos there, and I've never used it. Again, you could have it on a lanyard and keep it more secure. For the weight of this thing, you're not going to get a usual charger to be able to hold the battery that they've designed for this. So you're completely reliant on their little magnet charger, which I have no issues with. It's super easy. The battery for this big boy is a 6500 milliamp 32-650. She's a chunky girl that fits into there. And so that's part of the reason you're not going to be able to use a lot of your other chargers. You're going to have to use their proprietary charger to make sure this gets done. Now, I also own many other Olights, so it's easy for me to leave one in the truck, one in the house, one over here, and I'm able to keep things charged. It's not like a big deal, but you got to remember that if you take this somewhere, you got to take the charger with you. I do like Olight's design of that magnetic base. I've got other flashlights I've reviewed in the past, and I've always nitpicked them that they're about the size of a pencil head or eraser, and they collect a lot of fine dust and dirt and metallic substances. It makes it difficult to get those pins to line up. Olight's never done that. It's always been this really big contact patch, strong magnet, and it's never really been an issue. It's why I use that headlamp with the same thing for wildland fire. My only two negatives or things that I would say differently that they could change is the crenulated bezel on here. Again, I'll put in some photos. It doesn't really protect this as much. This sort of shaped lens over here seems to be some sort of a plastic, and it is taking quite a bit of abuse. There's some scratches in it. Now, certainly, I don't see that when I'm shooting the light down the road to see what goes bump in the night, but I can see it on the flashlight. It doesn't seem to affect its performance, but it does make me wonder how many more scratches I'm going to get over the years, and will it start to affect, the beam pattern. And the other thing is, this is such a darn good little work light. This big flat base is fantastic just to set here. You can certainly use it in candle mode, shoot up, bounce off the ceiling, and if the power goes off, you guys can have all the light you need in your house as a sort of survival emergency flashlight. But I think adding a quarter turn 20, like a tripod thread, to this would be fantastic. To be able to put this on any sort of, even a little gorilla pod or tripod, and be able to shoot that. Again, for Wildland Fire, we were using this as an area work light because it was just so darn bright. But I was having to like put it on the tailgate of the flatbed and to kind of aim it and prop it up to get the light where I wanted to go. To be able to put this on just a baby tripod and be able to kind of put it exactly where I want, I think would be perfect. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. The Mini Marauder by Olight, you can't beat it. For a truck light, for a little bit of everything light, with the amount of lumens that this thing puts out on paper, and having the ability to go from flood to spot is fantastic. You guys know when I do my reviews, I'm always talking about the hot spot and how much spill there is. Well, you can either go full flood and a flip of a switch, and now you're in spot mode. And I think that is where this thing shines. Thanks for watching, guys. Wanderer Beast, we'll see you down the road.
Thanks for all the love and support. You guys are amazing. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow the adventure on social media, and we'll see you on the road.